It's another beautiful evening right here on the best station you right direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the polity is getting very right now. There is nothing you say now that you made mention of 2027. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people are warming up, a lot of people are preparing. But then some persons are saying, why leave governance and focus on politicking when we still have some more time? But the politicians will tell you we don't have any more time. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A very beautiful welcome to the desk this evening. And of course, I have an ex-lawmaker, a former lawmaker, joining me on the conversation as we look at the 2027 election and political parties' preparedness and everything going on. And as a matter of fact, we need to let you know that the 2027 general election in Nigeria is already shaping up to be a highly contested one. But then, is there any election that is not highly contested? That of 2027 is going to be different. And I will tell you why at the course of our discussion on the desk this evening. One of the reasons is because several key issues and of course developments are unfolding across various political parties. Not one party. You hear things happening in ADC, the coalition party, the ruling party, All Progressive Congress, APC. Then you also talk about the People's Democratic Party, and you cannot talk about all of these parties without mentioning one of the parties that gave the ruling party a run for their money in 2023, which is the Labour Party, even though some persons said, well, it is a party that never had a structure. But then there were so many things on ground that prove their seriousness. And of course, today we'll be looking at all of that on the desk. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, I will come back again and my guest will join me as we get into the conversation. What are you thinking about 2027 election? Stay with us. The desk returns after this break. Welcome back from that break. It is still the desk, and on the desk this evening, we're looking at 2027 election and political parties' preparedness. We have a former lawmaker joining me on the conversation, and he's also a political analyst, and of course, he's also somebody that has thought for several years. And we will be talking about the 2027 election. Let's let you know that preparation is on the rise. Everyone is getting ready. Joining me on the conversation is Honorable Cletus Obun. It's good to have you join us on the program this evening.
Thanks for having me once again on the Global Trot.
Yes. Well, we're looking at 2027 election, and everyone have a perception about the 2027 election. Some said it's going to be a contested one. Some other persons are saying, well, the way things are going, 2027 election may not be as serious as people are saying. But then, the registration going on right now online is something else. What do you think about, what's your perception about the 2027 election?
Well, it's very clear to Nigerians that voter apathy is long gone. And the isolation which comes with voter apathy is no longer possible. In the days gone past, politicians in areas where they know they are not strong ensure that there is voter apathy and disinterest because of performance. And therefore people will not come out in certain areas to vote. Now to cure it, they do isolation by not going there again to contest or to converse for votes. In the case of 2027, the ball has, in fact, it is no longer possible to catch any Nigerian on the wrong foot because everybody is now conscious that his vote can give him so much or give him nothing. So Nigerians are now more conscious, Nigerians are more aware, and 2027 is going to change the dramatics and is going to change a lot of things. 2023 was just a tester, and it showed people that, for the first time in Nigerian political history, people tell us we are not making progress, Nigeria is a scam, Nigeria is a that. But when you look at the figures, when you look at the matrix, when you look at the indices for democratic progress, you see Nigeria has far advanced beyond anybody's recognition. And those who are taking Nigerians for granted should be ready for a shocker in 2027. Why? One, Nigerians are now getting more and more literate. Like I alluded to the fact of the present voter registration. It's a fact of the awareness Nigerians have gotten. Two, before today, a certain demographic used to be touted as using phantom figures. That is northern Nigeria. Oh, how can Kano be giving you 4 million, 5 million? How can Lagos be? That was voter apathy. But I live in Cross River State. I travel all over this country. I know that at registration points like this, truckloads of young northerners leaving southern Nigeria just to go and do registration and get that card. Go and ask them in Bogobri, in Calabar, to give you that voter card. Go to Hausa Kota in Ogoja and ask them to give you a voter's card. It is Kano, Katsina, Borno. But the average southerner does not believe that he has any business with politics. And politics for those who want to lie and those who want to steal. And so they are not going to go there. So when the figures start coming out, they start complaining. But today, everybody now knows that even those who register for registration sake to have an ID card now want to go back to their bases to go and register. What's the reason? That they now know that if you don't vote well, you suffer and pay for it. So people now know that voting pays or does not pay, depending on what and who you bring in. So if you bring the wrong people, you get the wrong results and get the pain. In 2027, Nigeria is going to be having a hyper participation of political actors coming out to show. Indeed, that is why if you bring out what you call independent candidacy, the result will show that independent candidates will win more. What's the reason? People are tired of saying, oh, because of party. You get up in the morning and El Rufai is telling you that if it is not Tinubu, somebody, Nigeria will not make any progress. And then you get up in the afternoon and you see, watch him on TV saying, well, Tinubu, Nigeria is dead. One person from one mouth sitting in the same place within the same period, election cycle, tells you 3 different stories. And who wants to believe that a slippery customer who does not in any way show steadiness but keeps celebrating himself and thinking that he's celebrating Nigerians by fighting for them? How can somebody who between 1999 and 2023 has not stayed out of government, before he came to government in 1999, he never had 10,000 of his own in his account, and then becomes governor, becomes a House of Assembly member, the first day he enters House of Assembly he's a speaker, 8 years after he's a governor, 8 years after, 16 years as speaker, as governor, and then he comes 16 years after he's a minister, for another 8 years, 24 years in a stretch without stopping. Get up in the morning and walk on national television and tells you he's hungry. And you want people to believe you. You are mocking them. Nigerians cannot be mocked anymore. So you find all that every day. We are going to chase these people out. The people you told us, without them, this Nigeria cannot stand. You remember on one occasion I had to challenge one of the elder statesmen who told us that without Buhari in this country, Nigeria is finished. They need an honest man like that. 2 years into Buhari's first tenure, he was on national television with me telling us the evil that Buhari is. I said, who told you that it lies in your mouth to tell Nigeria? You've been minister, you've been a chairman of a local government, you've been a House of Assembly member, you've been a senator. So what did you do? We have a fact check on you. So don't come here and mouth anything.
So
tell us about what you're doing.
As it is right now, Honorable, let's get to the table right now and of course look at one or two. You just talked about El-Rufai. I was actually going to talk about that, but then since you brought it out, let's delve into it a little bit and talk about the fact that the same person, like you said, preached Tinubu in 2023 and he got into office, he won the election, and just few years, I think 2 years or so in down the line, the same person is coming to say a different thing. What does that say about an average politician? Because you just gave his antecedents now, how he got started, and the number of years he has spent in governance. Now, what message does such kind of statement, because now, like you said, the same person you presented, in a short while, you're already discrediting the person. What does it say of average politicians in Nigeria? The reason why I'm asking this is because we still have the same set of people being recycled in all the political parties. So what do you think about an average Nigerian politician? Because some persons, like you said, that some persons will not vote because they believe that politics is a game of liars, and you know they call it a whole lot of names. But these are the kind of statements and actions that make Nigerians disbelieve in democracy. So what is your perspective of an average Nigerian politician looking at that statement made by El-Rufai on a national television?
When I was talking about El-Rufai, indeed, he has never been in the House of Assembly before. He's never been a parliamentarian in his life. I was referring to people like Amechi.
Okay. Because okay.
He himself was minister under Obasanjo and calls himself a reluctant civil servant, public servant. And, I mean, El-Rufai, I'm talking about Amechi, who became speaker in May 1999, June 1999 in Port Harcourt. I remember that thereafter, he became chairman of Speakers Forum. I participated because my speaker and I had to go to, and I rooted for him because we had the same supervisor in my master's program. So I knew him before he became a House of Assembly member, and I became a House of Assembly member at the same time. I was majority leader. He was speaker in Port Harcourt while I was in Calabar. So I can tell you vividly that I can name them even more. Atiku became vice president. He took this Ashwaju in Bodilon and Lagos South, Abuja, and in different fora to save him from his master. I participated. I didn't hear. I was sitting in meetings in which he became presidential candidate of ACN on the 23rd of December 2006 in Lagos. He became the sole candidate of ACN, and we left back to come and work for him. By 2007, he contested and lost. This is the inconsistency of political actors in Nigeria. Like you asked a very important question. What is the perception of Nigerians? Now, for every of those kind of migrant politicians, they are stable politicians. Buhari is one of them. Buhari never moved to the ruling party at any time in his life. Tinubu indeed survived the ruling party and kept opposition together. So you can't say that from moving from AD, opposition, to form alliance with ACD, Advanced Congress of Democrats, to form the AC on the 9th of April 2006, and then became ACN by December 19th, before the convention of ACN in Lagos on the 16th of December within 2007. In all that, they never moved to the ruling party. Indeed, if you remember, the last gift Buhari gave to us was when he was touted, because those who wanted to jump ship went to him to say to him that they want him to endorse their ADC move against APC. He said he remains a member of APC. He was on national television saying so. It was a public statement. It was like a last gift to opposition and progressives in Nigeria. He said he remains so. So he died a progressive. Tinubu the same. Even when the entire Southwest fell for PDP, he was the only last man standing. It is historic. Today he sits in as opposition leader in government, only taking over 9 years, now 11 years of opposition coming into power. And people are judging it as if it's the same 16 years that the others took. But gradually... But
it's the same party, irrespective of the years.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they don't work in isolation.
That's why I say it's 11 years now. 11 years, I mean 8 years of Buhari. 2 years plus. He's in his 11th year of opposition. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I'm not in any way divorcing it. Anybody who pretends that Buhari did this, didn't do that, because he's APC, is not telling us the truth. I cannot be part of that. I can't be discussing Buhari in isolation of APC. I cannot. The reason is because you'll be pretending. Those who do that are not true progressives. They are being dodgy. They are being foggy. They are being foxy. That is not in any way to show that they are progressives. You have made errors. Is to admit those errors, like the president keeps telling you, that I have not told you that I have come to give you joy, but that this pain is the pain you get before childbirth. No woman in the maternity ward will ever want to get pregnant again. But thereafter, the cry of the baby makes him want to look after the husband again. Before I walked into the studio, my wife was just calling me to say, I have not seen you in Calabar for this length of time. Why? Because she wants to see the husband. He said, I didn't marry you to be trotting about for Nigeria, come back to the house. This is the kind of thing that you find, the pain of marriage and the separation occasioned by national duty. So Tinubu has not pretended to you that Nigeria is the best of its form. Has even Trump told you that America is in its best form?
So tell us what the perception of what you think about Nigerian politicians.
The Nigerian politician is simple. Let me say this. The Nigerian politician of different colors, shape, if you look at a man like Enyinnaya Abaribe of Abia State, will you say he's inconsistent? Will you say also that you can't believe him? If you look at a Fashola, will you say you won't believe him? If you look, for example, at a present governor of Cross River State, will you say you won't believe him? He's been the House of Reps, he's been the Senate, now he's governor. Will you say you won't believe him? For every one scoundrel in Nigerian politics, there are 10 honest Nigerian politicians. But you know what? Like all death, like all evil things, evil always shines. It's always propelled. We are sitting in this room now, nothing is happening, we are discussing. But let one light shout out from there, or an orange is thrown here. That becomes the news. That we stay there for 30 minutes and discuss and nothing happened is not news. The fact that while we were in the studio somebody threw an orange becomes news and it's breaking news. That is how it is. You are wearing a very neat tie there with a good shirt on, but lift your hand and it is torn here. That presenter wears torn shirts. But look at the outlook you have there, well bedecked in your dress, But once you lift up and there's any thunder, the man comes to the studio with thunders, he must be a drunkard.
All right.
They won't even talk that. So what is
Honorable
evil shines. The Nigerian politician, as I speak to you, is one of the finest you can find in the world. And I challenge you to tell me which part of the world we've gone to, whether in parliament or in the executive. No part of this world does not want to deal with Nigeria. Even as military rule, as bad as it was, the whole world, Commonwealth.
No country can exist in isolation, as a matter of fact. So,
but some countries have been isolated. Nigeria is not one of them. When Abacha tried to do what he wanted to do, you discover that while Abacha was doing what he was doing, other Nigerians were receiving their accolades all over the world. Abiola and others were receiving accolades all over the world from this same country.
All right.
So Nigeria is not the evil republic that the world wants us to believe and Nigerians want to believe. Each time you say Nigeria is a scam, you, the speaker, is the real scam.
But now, let's get back to my first question about what you think concerning politicians. You've talked about Amaechi. He was on national TV too. Atiku Abubakar, they've been there. El-Rufai just recently, where he said in 2027 is going to be a serious fight and the election is going to be contested and there might be a rerun. He said there's going to be a rerun. The worst that will happen is that there will be a rerun, and of course the current president will not be in that rerun. That was what he said. Now, let's get back to the issue of recycling. With the kind of perception and the two-sided mouth that we've seen from some major politicians who have been in power, and the same recycling keeps happening in Nigeria, what does that speak of our democracy and, of course, Nigerians as a whole? Because it's all about Nigerians.
Let me make this point to Nigerians. Each time good men refuse to participate in politics, that it is a dirty game, you are propelling and promoting evil. And once you promote evil, you are disobeying God. This is a maxim you must hold. Most of those who should be in government are out of government. It happened to us in 1999, when people didn't believe that power would change hands to civilians. And those who were layabout were the ones who took over and consolidated, and today kept all the good men out of power. And that is what is haunting Nigeria till today. So the few who are there are politically asphyxiated. They are suffocated out of position and out of... Go to each state. Each time you have a primaries, every person who you know should be in government is the one that every person who ought not to be in government gangs up against. In fact, they start cooperating against the good people in government who are supposed to be in government. That has happened all over the country. I talk from solid personal experiences. I have conducted primaries from Jigawa to Zamfara. I have conducted primaries in Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Ondo. I have gone to Lagos. I have done Kwara. I have done Benue. I have traversed that. In fact, I had to rescue some people in Jigawa. And since they won and they broke themselves in, they remained there in the National Assembly till today. The reason is because there are people who believe them. But they were never given the opportunity. And when I got there, I saw the gang up, where somebody brings 5 degrees and all are in Islamic studies, and you can't speak Arabic in the National Assembly. And here was a young person with a PhD, and I was being told from behind never to allow him to participate in the primary. Not that he shouldn't win, that he should not even be allowed to participate. And then here was another one who was a councillor, became a chairman of the same local government, later on went to the House of Assembly for 2 terms. The governor who came in didn't want him, and he returned home, and his committee said, you must be in government, and put him as a councillor. From councillor to chairman to House of Assembly, back to councillor. So when I saw his credentials and CV, I said, no, you did arrange this well. Councillor, House of Assembly. He said, no, that is how it came. That's why he put it down there. Look at the years. And I looked at the years. I took a second look. What was the reason? The community said, you will stay there. This councillorship, the governor cannot influence it. The one he can stop is in Duse, in Jigawa state capital. But the one here in this village, in this community, you are going to be our councillor. You will stay there. And so when he came to me, he's still in the House of Assembly from 2014 till now. He's still in the House of Assembly. His community keep voting him back. So also with the one in the National Assembly. The same primaries I went to conduct, and I was being told not to allow them come. And I saw myself, the picture of myself there. What am I trying to tell you? That those who ought to be in power must come out and fight their way. Like the president told us during the primaries, politics and political positions are not served a la carte. You must fight it. If you don't battle it, then don't complain. But the idea of saying that Nigerian politicians are this or not that It's a question of who is involved. And those who are involved across the country, are the same.
All right, Honorable, let me ask a question because you made a very valid point when you were talking about the fact that the good people are pushed out by some caucus members if you're not a part of certain caucus, according to what a lot of people say, and that is a school of thought anyway, but it is something that most Nigerians talk about, that you must have to belong to a caucus or have a godfather before you get into certain positions, which you just affirm now, because people who are good are being pushed out, all right, because of one reason or the other. How do we get rid of caucus? If you are not a member of a particular caucus, you don't find your way in there. And that has resulted to recycling of a particular set of people. 2027 is around the corner, and we may still have a repeat of the same thing. So how do we deal with that scenario?
Yes, I will tell you that first, especially the intellectual class, my colleagues, who are in the academia, who have been selected most of the time to go and conduct elections as umpires. Then, of course, you also have the intelligentsia who are not necessarily academics, but who are into business, private businesses, or in public life. They have to also come together. The cartels, the evil cartels that keep out
the good ones,
must now be defeated. Like I said, it is not donated. I mean, it's a common balance. It is never donated. You go fight for it. Most of the time, it is finances. I have contested elections. I have discovered there are certain things money cannot do. Contrary to what some people tell you that what money cannot do, more money can do, there are certain things that money cannot do. I'm a perfect example of that. That there are things that money cannot do, and there are things that money can only assist you to do. So the limit to which we can continue to engage in melancholy, there is no national award for melancholy. Self-pity is not a virtue. So we must stop ruminating, lamentations, and all kinds of regrets about if I didn't have a godfather, must stop. You come together with your sheer number. You can outweigh them. And if you look at the people who are on the good side, they are more in number than the few who are evil, who don't want others to come. In fact, in 2019, the present governor of Kwara State did his primaries one. They didn't want him because they didn't know him. He was doing his business outside Nigeria. It took my colleague to walk up to me and say, look at what is about to happen. This is my person and this is what is about to happen to him. I just came into Abuja from Calabar. There is nothing I didn't do that night. Then Adams Oshimole was national chairman. That was the first time we saw democracy in action, in which party supremacy was exhibited since after NPN. It was Adams Oshimole and APC that gave us that. And what did he do? He insisted that every person of merit must get the ticket of the party, no matter what. And that was why they forcefully wanted him out, and he did succeed in doing that. That same cartel did that. But see the way God works its own ways. Oshimole is back, sitting now to preside over some of them as a senator. The man they say was not popular, that it is his ward that even removed him. It is now his very ward, his own constituency, that elected him. If there was a third term for governorship, Adam Oshimole will return as governor of Edo State. The Kwara governor, then as aspirant, walked up to me with my friend Fagbemi, and then by the time we finished discussing, we made a few moves, and his position was restored. He was already removed after winning the primaries. It happened to me. It was the same Oshimole that insisted that this is the result I have before me. What we are discussing does not exist in the books. Until you change this result, this is what I want. That's how even after that, we went to court, we were in court until election day. And the people who did that, along with me, APC was out of the ballot in the minds of the people, because once they were not sure that I was contesting, they said anything APC that they may make an error. And because of that, everybody in that central district locked the electoral in APC, because I was denied, I was taken to court while the pendency of my ticket. I'm telling you this, that integrity, Nigerians are not as foolish, are not as gullible, are not as greedy as they tell you that you can buy people with 5,000 naira on a voting day. It is not possible in most places. I can tell you that, like I said, from solid personal experiences. So 2027, I have said, there will be a shocker for many. That's why political parties, most of them, don't even go for socialization and mobilization. Only APC in the history of Nigeria from 1960 to today. By October 1, we are going to be 65. No political party has formed a structure to the polling unit. In APC constitution, not by decree, not by declaration or proclamation, from day one, there is a 10-member polling unit executive. So if you have over 8,000 times 10 persons who are executives, how are you going to win? How will you defeat APC? When even from the polling unit, including your own,
all right,
you already have 10 members.
Okay,
polling units in Nigeria.
Well, let's go on a quick break. Let's go. We are going on a quick break.
10 times 8,000.
All right, we'll return. We'll talk more about that. The reason why you can't win APC, according to my guest in the studio, is because of their structure down to the ward level. But then, I think that may be debatable by you or me or him or somebody else. But then, let's go on a quick break. After the break, we'll return and we'll bring you more on the desk this evening. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. It is still the desk, and we are looking at the 2027 elections and how prepared are these political parties? How is it going to be in 2027? Is it going to be very easy? Are you thinking of what happened in 2023? Are we going to have a repeat or something more contesting or something more difficult or something more to talk about? Well, preparation is on. Some persons are saying, why politicking instead of governance? Look at hunger. Look at where APC has brought us and all of that. We have a former lawmaker and, of course, a political analyst in the person of Honorable Cletus Obun right here in the studio. Let's get back to our discussion now. The discussion is getting more intense. And of course, like you said, we still have good people in politics. Now, let's talk about opposition a little bit. As it is right now, the All Progressive Congress is the ruling party. Something is happening, and a lot of Nigerians are thinking, why the massive defection? Not at the world level, but even at the world level, it's happening everywhere. You see governors defecting, and some governors are even saying, if you must be in my cabinet, then you need to defect alongside with me. These are things you don't hear ordinarily before now as far as politics is concerned. Then come to talk about ADC and the caliber of people that are forming members of this ADC. I heard Rufai say something like, well, now they are still trying to build structure. The issue of who to field as a presidential candidate is not an issue yet. Now, what would you have to say about the coalition and opposition as far as the stance of APC is concerned in 2027?
Well, let me say this. When I hear about the coalition, first of all, it's a strange word in politics. As a political scientist, you don't coalesce to form political party. You merge. Once you start saying coalition, you are talking about a protesting group. a pressure group. But when it becomes a political party, and you say strange bedfellows are congregating for the purpose of change, they can only change for the worst, not for the better. So what we have there is a coagulation, not a coalition. Exhausted political actors are coagulating in a manner that will retire them. '98, the Progressive Party was PDP. The old MP and the Conservatives were in APP, All People's Congress, that later became All Nigerian People's Congress, AMPP. So the party to defeat at that time, the junior party, the junior partner in Nigerian politics was PDP. It was made of young greenhorns, young people who were just coming into politics with no name. In my state, for example, the only person who had a name was the later Attorney General of the Federation, Kanu Agabi, and Reverend Ikobi, who was a commissioner under a tear bed in 1983. They were the only people that if you call their name, anybody can recognize in Nigeria. No other person in Cross River State, including us, who were young talks, then just coming out as young academics. We were lecturers, so we came out. People just knew us for our rascality. People knew us for our progressiveness. People knew us for our activism. And they just felt we were just rascals. What are you doing with PDP? We came from PDM with General Shehu Musa Yaradua, PDM. When he was banned, we took off from there and then came out with John Opa, who just came in from Sokoto as a copper, and then met us in the university and brought us out. So by the time we graduated and became lecturers, it was only to follow. But today, I ask you, who are those progressives that came through this grind, that came through this process? They just become accidental leaders, never prepared for anything. That is why Tinubu is to them a phenomenon. And that's why Nigerians must take him seriously. Since he left office in 2007, Tinubu aspired for no office. Tinubu held no position in Nigeria. But he was the issue in Nigerian politics and remains so till today. Why? Us with lawyers, and we got the governor out twice, but we were not strong enough to be able to build on that and produce the next governor. If I had accepted with him, then I would have run the governorship of 2011. He called me to Lagos and said, go and contest governorship of Cross River State. I did not. I told him, I said, I believe in zoning, I believe in equality, and certain for us to have a stable polity in Cross River State, this is what we need to do. So I get into this to show you that in all that we are saying about these people and to touch, we are calling coalition, I have told you it's a coagulation. That is, you know, when you have milk and you leave it in the air, it moltens. They have molten. They are now inactive. This is the last kick of a dying horse. This is the only way they can remain relevant. Like I ask you, if El-Rufai was a sincere man, an honest man of integrity, the moment he saw his name go to National Assembly, he said, no, I don't want. It is until he was dropped that he now knew that the government was bad. If he was sitting in this government as a minister today, because this government is not barely 26 or 27 months old, what would he have been saying? Do you understand me? In 27 months, He was nominated 6 months into, so you have about, he would have been minister for 20 months. Will he be in the coagulation? Will he have gone to go and cool down himself with an Atiku for any reason? Who fought Atiku in the last election in the North more than El Rufai? Who was the campaign manager for Buhari in APC on 2 occasions, 8 years? Who was the super minister under Buhari? These are Mechi. Are they the people that are now wanting to come out of the very APC they fought so hard to keep? Because they think they are out of favor, because their ambition has been scuttled. It therefore means that Nigeria must die, Nigeria must go down, Nigerians must now know that they are the messiahs that we have been looking for. Obasanjo once told us that even if we bring Jesus to this place now, he can no longer liberate Nigeria, because it is Nigerians that will have to liberate Nigerians. And how do you do that? Choose the right people, bring them to office, hold them accountable. I will not sit here and tell, because I'm an APC, even today among the ministers, I know some of them that are here by accident and are not ready to work for this government to prove that we told you that APC cannot do anything. So they do things deliberately to make the government look ineffective. And so they are paralyzing the government in different forms.
But they are APC members?
Not just APC members holding top government positions.
In APC.
Because
they're still fighting against APC.
They are redundant, inactive, incompetent, impotent.
But why would APC keep people like that if they know them?
It takes time for you to know this. Do you understand? Has Shakespeare not told you that there's no art to read the mice construction in the face? You find men whom you think on an ordinary day, this man is credible, this man can perform, and then you come and give him a position to perform, and he can't perform. This is the drum, beat it. You can't beat the drum.
So what do you do if it's not performing?
It's to take out. Have we not done the first one? The first people have gone under 1 year. Under 12 months, you saw Tinubu has rare courage that very few people have. The Tinubu I know, I said it on the day he was addressing the Joint Assembly in the morning in one of your sister stations, and I said to you, when they were telling us that we want to do one party state, I said, this president will use his time and money and canvas for opposition, because that's the major ingredient that keeps government in power in check. So he knows as a Democrat that the only way in which he can survive is to keep a viral opposition. We are grossly disappointed, I can tell you as APC, as progressives, that we are not getting the kind of opposition. When we were in opposition, we showed how to do opposition. We were almost an alternative government, because for every action of government, we showed the alternative. And today, this Ashwadu will, in fact, prefer not to run a second term than to begin to back down on account of election tomorrow. He's fighting for the next generation of Nigerians, never for the next office or the next tenure. His actions do not show that he wants to run the next election. His actions show that he wants Nigeria for the better. So Nigerians have to choose between an altruistic leader and the one who panders to elections. Because worst case scenario, he will run another 4 years. Nigeria is not going to end in 4 years' time. Nigeria will proceed. Nigerians will proceed. So why wouldn't you lay the foundation for a greater nation? The pain of building a nation is what we are not ready to do. And that is why Nigerians now believe and are made to think that this is a punishment rather than a step to progress. Show me one drug. Every drug that is sweet in your mouth sends you to sleep. Every other drug that is bitter heals you fast. Go and check. All sedatives are sweet. All sedatives are sweet. So if Nigerians want go to sleep, developmental sleep, then they should go ahead and we palliate them and start telling them everything is nice, don't worry. As you are sleeping, when you get up, you get 1 million in your account. That's the kind of country they want to get. There is no such country on earth. And I say to you, even the most advanced countries on earth today are not singing hallelujah. They are not. America is battling on all fronts. Britain is battling on all fronts. Look at China with all its number. China is digging in and working on world economy. How to capture the economy and make their people better. While America, Europe, and others are still going into facade wars and shadow wars.
But there's something happening in APC that even people in APC, some people in APC are not giving APC the support, are even complaining about the leadership of the APC than people who are even opposition. Why is it happening like that?
I will tell you that one very freely.
You just confirmed it. Remember that there are some ministers that are even in power, and they are
doing nothing. If the president calls me to a meeting, I'm going to tell him that I said so before today, and I'm not afraid to say that, because we didn't work for this party for people to come and mess us up. We sat in opposition and paid the price, and today we are looking as if we don't know what we are doing. We also could have gone and get fat on other people's purse and pockets. We never did. He knows that, and we are saying those who sat there when it was difficult to stand, even by you, Ashwaju, we are saying that he's not looking at them yet. He's not looking their way. He's not looking at that. Is the point we're making. That do you marry a new wife and abandon the one who has given you children? The children we give you is the democracy we've given you, is the governors we've given you, is the National Assembly we've given you in numbers. You didn't walk to every polling unit of every state to produce the senators. We did. We brought the federal house member. We produced governors. Cross River State, for example, was the first in South. From Ayade, when he decame, he produced the next governor. The entire South was PDP till only recently that we started getting them decamping. Otherwise, so what are you doing with such states? And then members of the legacy parties. Yesterday, I saw CPC walking to the presidency. Where are the ASEAN members? Where is Baba Bisa Konde as our national chairman? Where is Oshomole as our national chairman? Ganduje has just left. Why the national secretary is the governor of Yobe State? What are they doing with the former members who sat there and formed this government in 2013, 2014? Where are they? Why are they not the ones in the villa? Why are they not the ones in positions to show and carry on? Because they believe in the programs of this party, in the ideology, and in the manifesto. They can implement it more than anybody. Those who just happen on the party are now sitting back there because they don't even know, they don't even believe in what the party stands for. Those who believe in the party, those who have worked for the party, those who are doing that. You are talking about technocrats. We are what? I want one technocrat in government to challenge us and say, this one you can't do. The only thing I can do is to walk into a theater and perform a surgery. In any case, a minister is not supposed to be in the theater. The minister today, the minister of education is a medical doctor. He's not a professor. Is he not performing? He's performing. I can tell you that about this present minister. I can say that to you. The present minister of education is performing. The last one was doing nothing there. I was one of those who complained. There are others in different places. Information is being mismanaged everywhere. And you want us to be happy about that because you don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. You don't even believe it. When Ashwaju was taking us to Bodilon, taking us to Isaac John, and bringing us here to Lagos House to say, this is where we are going to, this is where we are going to. And most of us were chased out of our state. Some of our people were almost killed. Some were permanently in jail in Osun State, in Kwara State. The present chairman of Kwara was chairman of ACN. He was constantly in jail. I was the national secretary of all the chairmen's forum. Today I'm the leader of the ACN chairmen's forum and all those who are in the national executive. I chair their forum. And we were moving from state to free our members who are in detention. Olakunle Oyinlola, who later became national secretary of PDP, was detaining Moshood Adeoti on a daily basis.
All right, we're rounding up. Finally, before we go, where do you see APC in 2027?
APC...
because already El-Rufai has written APC off in 2027. At the risk
of being arrogant or sounding arrogant, what we are seeing here, this ragtag army that is congregating for the sole purpose of hating Tinubu not to win election or bring any better deal for Nigerians cannot be the one to unseat. We need a better opposition than this. And we are praying that they will organize themselves enough to even make us think that we are contesting.
But it's not late yet to get a better opposition, don't you think so?
No, by December, everybody is going to do congresses, conventions, and then you are going to primaries thereafter. At that point, you'll be settling internal crisis. There will be no time to organize.
Well, there's no time.
In 2011, to organize our own measure. It was not until 2013, 3 years after that, we achieved it. They cannot be starting in 6 months and hope to stabilize enough to come.
All right.
We really sympathize with them. We will give some of them a good Christian burial by allowing them to retire peacefully and sitting at home to lament and continue to gnage their teeth. But for those who are still active, please organize yourselves. Come out. We are ready to welcome opposition because we have sat there before. We came from Egypt. So today, sitting in the promised land, we can assure you that we'll have more sympathy for the
So you want them to decamp to APC? Is that what you're saying?
I don't.
All right.
We don't want them to, those who want to come on the salvaging mission.
All right.
Salvage them.
Our time is up, Honorable.
Can stay back there in Egypt. Let them stay there.
All right. So many thanks for joining us on the program this evening, Honorable Cletus Obun, a former lawmaker and a political analyst. Many thanks for joining us on the desk.
Thank you for having me. And please, may the opposition organize itself. Until then, may we have a better Nigeria.
All right, this is going to be the size of the desk this evening. The desk return again for another wonderful discussion. Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Bye-bye for now.